You're on mute, sorry. Okay, and so I hit record, but it will only record me as a speaker, not anyone else, because you're on mute. So you don't have to worry about being on camera. So this will be our 45-minute community class. It's going to start with gentle movement. And the second half of class will be our Yin-Inspired yoga poses. Now, Yin is a type of yoga practice that is focused not on the muscles, but on the connective tissues like ligaments and tendons and even the bones in the body. And for that type of yoga, you typically hold the poses from anywhere between 3 to 20 minutes. We obviously have a shorter time frame, so it will look more like 1 to 3 minutes at most. Okay, we'll get started today on our bellies. So begin to settle into your yoga mat. You can lay your forehead down on your stacked hands. You can turn one cheek. And as you settle in here, notice your breath. Just taking note of it moving in and out of the body here. You might feel your belly or your back rising and falling. Feel your body resting here with the weight of gravity pulling you down to the mat. Take a nice deep breath in, filling the lungs. And exhale, sigh it out. One more just like that, a slow, deep breath in. And exhale, sigh. If you have your head turned to one side, please turn it to the other side. And then draw the left knee up parallel with the hip so that it's at a 90-90 angle. This position is called half frog. It's a gentle way to begin opening the hips. Now lift the chest and come up to Sphinx arms. Your shoulders will stack above the elbows, forearms and palms are flat on the mat, and gaze is forward. Next, take the right hand and begin to reach it under and through the left shoulder so that you come on to the right side of your body, opening the left arm all the way back behind you for a one-leg supine twist. You might feel a deep rotation in the upper spine here. You can look up at the ceiling or over the left shoulder. One more round of breath here. Roll back onto your belly and take both legs out behind you. Forehead to mat. And then draw your right knee up parallel with the hip at that 90-degree angle. Now add the Sphinx arms again, lifting the chest. Chest is shining forward. Try not to sink into the shoulders here. Kind of brace the belly and keep the chest lifted. Then take the left arm and thread it underneath that right shoulder, rolling onto the left side and opening the right arm wide. If you're lucky, you might even get a couple of pops in your back. This pose has really been helping me lately with some middle of the back tension I've been experiencing. Bring the right arm up and over and come back onto your bellies. Both legs long out behind you. And then take the arms out to a T here. We'll roll onto the right side for an intense shoulder stretch. Again, the right arm is out wide, roughly even with the shoulder, or maybe a little bit lower. You can tent your left knee here, planting the foot to help with stability. You might feel this in your shoulder or even your pec muscles on your chest. Slowly come back to our bellies and switch sides, taking the left arm out long and rolling onto that left side. You might have your left foot long with the right foot, with the right knee tented up, right foot planted. If this stretch is new to you and you feel some discomfort from it, try to notice that discomfort. Is it just because you haven't done this before, or is there real pain in the shoulder? If there is, please back out of it and relax on your tummy. Come back to center. Plant the hands underneath the shoulders and press up to a tabletop position. Then take the knees out wide and bring your toes to touch and sink the hips back for child's pose. Lowering the chest and the forehead towards the mat. Arms go out in front of you, palms and forearms resting. If you like to practice yoga with an intention, you can take this time to set an intention for your practice. It could be a word or a phrase that you come back to throughout the class, or even a person that you want to dedicate this class to. For me, my intention today is going to be moving slowly and noticing what is going on in my body. When you slow down the movements, it, I think, strengthens the connection between the mind and the body. Moving with intention is really the focus for me today and throughout this week. A couple more rounds of breath here. Push up into a tabletop position. Stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees. Nice flat back. Then begin to take the palms and rotate them outward so that your fingers are coming back more towards your knees. And then kind of slowly shift the weight around, the forearm stretch. And especially if, like me, you like to pick up heavy weights and move them around as part of your exercise routine, can really help. Okay, now bring the hands back to neutral. Sink the belly and lift the gaze up for cow pose. And then exhale, arch the spine, chin to chest for cat pose. We'll take a couple more rounds of cow and cat here. And I invite you to move authentically, just kind of finding whatever movement feels good as you warm up your spine here. And go slowly. There's no rush to get to any destination. And then meet me back in a neutral tabletop. We'll inhale and lift the left arm up, chest towards the left, and exhale, thread the needle, bringing that left arm underneath the right shoulder and lowering the left shoulder down to the mat. Try to keep your hips stacked over your knees here. If you want to deepen the twist, you can snake the right hand behind you on the left side of your lower back. Then press into the right palm and reach the left arm up and back down to a neutral tabletop. And then we'll switch sides. Right arm goes up, inhale. Exhale, thread the needle. Press into that left palm, right arm comes up and back to tabletop. Go ahead and swing the legs around in front of you and come to an easy seat. You can sit however you want, crisscross applesauce, or you can even stack your shins here, that's fine. We'll go and do a couple of shoulder rolls in each direction. So inhale, the shoulders come up, and exhale, take them down the back body. Inhale, shoulders to ears. Exhale, down and back. One more like that. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll take them in the other direction, loosening the shoulders, going opposite direction. and you can just kind of shake them up. Inhale the right arm up, and exhale, twist to the left. The right hand can come to the left knee, left hand behind you, keeping a tall spine. If your neck allows, you can look over that left shoulder. Come back to center and we'll switch sides. Left arm up and over to that right knee. Chest is facing towards the right side of your yoga mat. Come back towards center and switch the crossing of your legs. And then we'll take a couple of side bends. So inhale the right arm up, left hand outside of the left hip, right arm comes up and over. Try to keep both hips on the mat, chest shining forward to the top of the mat. And if you experience any discomfort in your neck here, you can take the right arm on top and simply hold your head. Good. Come back to center. And then over to the right side. The right hand outside the right hip, left arm up and over. Good. Come back to center. And then swing the legs back around and meet me in tabletop position. Then from here, we'll shift the hips up and back for a quick downward facing dog. You can bend one knee and straighten the other, kind of walking the dog out, pressing the heels towards the mat one at a time. The chest is pressing back towards your thighs. Neck is relaxed here. And then when you're ready, slowly walk to the top of your mat. Take your feet out wide, about the width of the mat. And with a deep bend in the knees, hinge forward for ragdoll pose. In yin yoga, funny enough, this is just called dangling. So we'll dangle for a little bit. You can shift your weight from one side to the other and bend one knee and then straighten the other. Or you can simply hang here. Notice the way it feels to breathe while you're upside down. Kind of a different sensation than what we normally have in our day-to-day life. You can even slowly shift a little weight back into the heels and then slowly come forward a little bit. I think that deepens the stretch in the hamstrings back here. One more round of breath here. Go ahead and plant the hands, bring the heels in and the toes out wide, and then sink the seat. If you have a block, you can place it under your butt here. Pressing the hands to heart center and using the elbows to prop the knees open wide. This is a yogi squat or malasana. Try to keep a tall spine here. After this pose, we'll really start to slow things down here with those long holds roughly 1 to 3 minutes per pose. Typically, yin yoga is practiced when the muscles are cool because it allows the other tissues in the body to receive the benefit of the stress that we're placing on the joints and the ligaments and tendons and all of that. But I also read today that some yoga students and yoga teachers find it helpful to do a little bit of movement before the yin practice because some students find it difficult to get into those deep stretches without first moving around and warming up a little bit. Go ahead and come up to that forward fold, and then we'll just find a way back onto our bums. We'll set up for butterfly pose. You bring the soles of your feet to touch, and both knees go out wide. If you have blocks or pillows or bolster or blankets, any of it, you can place it under your knees or your thighs to take a little bit of work out of it. And you're welcome to stay here with a tall spine, simply allowing the hips to open, or you can hinge forward and make it into a fold with the butterfly legs. That is totally your choice and no pressure to do one or the other. It's always your choice, your practice, and your body. And it's important to notice when something isn't working for you or when you're pushing too far and taking the option to back out of it. And we'll settle in here for about 2 minutes. Excuse me. If you're in that forward fold, slowly lift the chest and come back up to a tall spine. We'll take both legs out wide here for what they call straddle pose in yin yoga. And if you do have blocks, one good way to do it is you can place them here kind of in the middle of your knees. You can stay with a tall spine here, or you can slowly hinge forward and take this into a fold. One thing I should mention is, especially when we haven't done a ton of movement, we haven't really warmed up the body, the muscles as much, you want to start really slow with the pose. It's important to only go a certain depth. You don't want to take it as far as you can go right away. So maybe you start with 50% of the stretch, 50% as deep as you could go. And if the body opens up and you feel like you can add a little bit more, then go to 60% or 70%. about 30 more seconds here. Okay, walk the hands in and begin to lift your chest. And we'll set up, actually first what we'll do is just bring the legs together about the distance between your mat. You can prop your hands behind you. Just kind of bring the knees from side to side in a windshield wiper motion. This is a counter pose for the straddle that we just took. Just switch them a couple times. Okay. And then we'll set up for a pose called shoelace. And I'll start with a gentler version and I'll show you how you can advance it. So you can start with the left leg out long and then take the right leg and cross it so that your inner thigh is coming over and you can just bring the right foot to the outside of the hip. And you can stay with the bottom leg, the left leg straight. Or if it feels okay, you can kind of lean off to that left side and then bend the left knee and bring the left foot close to your right hip so that you've got two bent knees stacked on top of each other. It's totally your option. If you want to stay with this modification, you can. We'll stay here for maybe a minute and a half, roughly. This one is good for opening the outside of the right hip. Although if you do bend the bottom knee, it'll probably be an opener for both hips. Come out of this pose, you might lean back a little bit on your hands and then take both legs out straight. Go ahead and kind of bend them and do this number. And then swing them around. We're going to come onto tabletop position for a moment, just as a transition to get to this little sequence I found called a dragon flow. So take the right foot forward towards the top of your mat. Both hands will be on the inside. This is known as lizard lunge in Vinyasa yoga, most yoga. But in Yin yoga, I find that they give it fun new names. And so lizard lunge becomes baby dragon, which I thought was really fun and cute. So you'll have your right foot near the top of the mat and the ankle or the knee stacked over the ankle. And the hips kind of coming forward and down in this pose. The back foot is untucked. And if you do have a block, and you're finding it hard to reach all the way down there, you can put it under your hands to bring the floor a little bit closer. And if this upsets your back knee, you could put a blanket or a pillow under it, anything to give it a little extra cushion. You could roll up a little bit of the back end of your mat and kind of double layer it there. That's always a good option. Now we will turn this into the winged dragon. And what that means is you'll kind of come onto the side, the pinky toe edge side of your right foot, and the knee will go out a little bit wider. So it looks like a dragon's wing. Yes, just like that, Tim. Good job. I find that this version of lizard lunge with the knee out to the side, or winged dragon, is the only way that I personally can take it down to my forearms, which is an option. About 30 more seconds here. To come out of this pose, you'll want to bring your knee back in and plant the right foot, and then kind of walk the hands back and then swing the right leg around. And we'll come up into a quick down dog as a counter pose to that. And then lower onto your knees and slowly sit on your bum and swing the legs around to the front. We'll do shoelace pose on the other side. So this time the right leg stays straight, bend the left knee and cross it over. You can stay with a tall spine and just one leg bent. Or if it feels comfortable, you can bend the bottom leg as well, using your hands to help guide the feet back towards your hips. And we'll just settle in here. And lean back a little bit onto the hands, and then straighten the legs out in front of you. We'll take that windshield wiper motion again, pushing the knees from side to side. And then swing the legs around and come into tabletop pose. And from there, bring the left foot forward for baby dragon. So you can take the right knee back just a touch. To find good alignment here, what you want to look for is that, again, the knee is stacking over the ankle here, both hands to the inside. Jade's singing the song of her people for us right now. For some reason, it tends to happen at like 3 a.m. and during my yoga classes. She's got great timing. Don't ya? Yes. Begin to come onto that outside pinky toe edge of the left foot, allowing the knee to fall open just slightly. I find that adding the winged dragon aspect, opening that knee to the side, really increases the stretch in the groin and on the inner thigh. But what I'm really noticing right now is the left hip flexor. I needed that. I've been doing cycling this past week, and that'll give you some tight hip flexors. Bring that knee back in and plant the left foot, and slowly shift the hips back and swing that left leg around. And then we'll come up into a quick down dog. You can cycle or pedal the legs out a little bit. And go ahead and lower down and come onto your back. We'll be here for the rest of the class. I know, huge sigh of relief all around. So go ahead and draw both knees in towards the chest here and give them a gentle squeeze. And then slowly move them over to the left side. Keep both shoulders on the mat here. Arms can be out to a T or like a goalpost shape. If you want to slightly deepen the stretch, you can take the left hand here and just rest it on top of the top knee. A couple more rounds of breath here. Go ahead and bring the knees towards the center, onto your back. And then switch sides, dropping the knees over to the right side. And look up at the ceiling or over towards your left shoulder. Bring knees back towards center. And then we'll get set up for Shavasana. You can take the legs out long. And the arms can be wide open at your side. Take a moment to get settled in here. And if you feel like you could be 10% more comfortable by having a pillow or a blanket, maybe under your hips or under your head, or just to cover you up if you're cold, go ahead and take the time to do that. And see here if you can release any last little bit of tension remaining in the body. You relax the eyes and the forehead. You unclench the jaw. Let your shoulders fall towards the mat. Your hips are feeling heavy here. Your feet can open towards the side, toes falling off to the side. And just rest. And make some gentle movements here. Wiggle your toes and your fingers. Make circles with your wrists and your ankles. You can take a good morning stretch. reaching in one long line. When you're ready, roll onto your side. And slowly press up into a seat. Let's take a couple rounds of cleansing breaths together. Slowly breathe in through the nose and fill up your lungs. And then exhale, side out. One more like that. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh. I want to thank you all for being here with me today and practicing yoga, moving our bodies with intention and honoring ourselves with a little bit of compassion and self-care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.